You are listening to Words with a Mad Coach. I am Mad Coach. I am Mad Coach. I am. I am Mad Coach. I am Mad Coach. I am. You are listening to Words with a Mad Coach.
What's up, Mad World? It's me, Coach Sess. Hey, I'm excited about this book that I'm reading. It's called You Have Not Many Fathers by Dr. Mark Hanby, and it's got a foreword by T.D. Jakes. This is the cover. It's what it looks like. I don't know where you can find it. This book was given to me some 20 years ago, and I read the book then, but I didn't read the book with understanding. I didn't see it as a book for living. I saw it as a book for religion, and not so much like how it would apply to me in terms of martial arts or anything that I was doing at the time. But I started reading the book again, and there's some things that hit me right off in the first two chapters, and there are about 4 concepts that I want to bring to you that we need to get back to as martial artists. And what I want to do is, as I finish each chapter, I want to bring to you the concepts here and show you how they're relevant to what we do in the martial art world. So in chapter 1, it talks about the dilemma. And that dilemma is really twofold. And these are 2 of the concepts. One is that there are so many instructors out there, but they're not fathers. And that's really a problem in the martial art world, because we want to make sure that we have people that are passing along the martial art in a way that's beneficial to the next generation. So we want to build on each generation as that martial art is passed on. We don't just want to YouTube it, because that happens a lot now. There are talented people out there that can watch YouTube videos and really teach themselves martial arts, but it doesn't mean that they can teach anyone else the martial art. Just because you have a good fight IQ doesn't mean you know how to pass it down in a way to help someone else get a good fight IQ. And this is a very common practice in the martial arts, where we learn something and we pass it down, and we hope and pray that the next generation makes it better. It doesn't mean that they are going to be helpful to that particular style or brand of martial art. And we see that a lot, where people want, certifications, certificates, belts, rankings, acknowledgement. It's happening a lot. And that's some of the concepts that Dr. Hanby talks about, where people wanted to be known for something. They wanted to be somebody, but they really didn't want to be dedicated and passionate about their teachings. And we don't want to just do that in the martial art world either, because it can be perverted. And we see that where someone has a particular status, and then they sleep around with their students. That's not good. We've seen where martial arts instructors are perverted the teachings, so they too become perverted, and they molest children. So we don't want that. And so, we've got to do a better job as instructors in fighting for our art. And when I saw this, I saw the connection that is related to the martial art world. And it's a connection I think we've lost, where it's not just luck. It's not just, hey, I'm going to teach you some techniques. Don't get into fights. Don't be a bully, and get out there and be good and pass on the martial art. And that's really, it's more to it than that. And this book goes over a lot of that, and shows you how that structure remains intact, shows you why it should remain intact, and shows you what happens when it becomes perverted. I asked a question to a friend of mine, and it's something that I started to see probably in the last 5 years or so, where instructors had so many black belts or so many certified instructors under them. And I started to ask this question, do you know all of their names? And I actually had one tell me, no, I don't know all their names. And to me, if you given 20 black belts to your family members, to your sons or to your cousins, to your brothers, would you know all of their names? You would. You would know all of their names. And by the idea that you don't know their names shows me that the line is broken, even though the line is intact. So what I mean is the line of teaching is still there, but that relationship is broken. That father-son relationship is broken. That's what I want to do, is I want to share some of these processes with you and get us back on the right track to make sure that we're passing it down. Because if I'm passing it down to Jesse Herzog and Mike Pagano and Kyle Trujillo, then I should be able to recognize any of their students, not by what they teach, but how they teach down the line. And I say that because I see a lot of guys who have taken some of the things that I would do, and they would take it, and some would do it exactly like I do it. Some would do it just a little bit better. Some would add their own little funk to it and twist it up and come up with something that was really impressive. And I remember someone asking me, because they recognized some of my methods, and they said, does that not bother you? And I said, why should it bother me? I stole it from my teacher. I stole it from my father. It's not so much stolen. I inherited it. I inherited it from my father. So it's only natural that they have traits that resemble me in terms of the way they teach. Maybe we don't always teach the same thing because our interests are different, but you can see that their methods are very similar. And that is how you can tell that we've all been connected to one another. Anthony Wright, James Quigg, Marcus Daniels, again, Kyle, Mike Pagano, Nick Grady. It's just all little things that we all do. Even guys who've gone and separated themselves, Alexander Banks, there's just things that he does. Ricky Saxton, these are all my sons, all my brothers, all my cousins. They're all related to me by some means. Hey, look, I'm Coach Sess, and you've had words with the Mad Coach.